People say DevOps is dying. Really? Absolutely no. As we can see in the job market, DevOps engineer is still in a very high demanding position. Should we be ready for that? What's up everyone, my name is Harry from Start Quick Tech. Today we're going to talk about what we should learn to become a DevOps engineer in 2023. If you already have an IT related job, no matter you're a developer, tester, or administrator, you want to switch your career to DevOps? This video is right for you. This channel is all about learning IT skills and career development. I'm aiming to help more people like you to achieve their career goal. Welcome to subscribe my channel, and if you find the videos helpful, please help to click the like button to support this channel. That'll be the key motivation for me to keep making more valuable contents. Remember, learning is always the best investment, so let's work hard together. The main topic today is about the key skills to become a DevOps engineer. But I just want to emphasize here, DevOps is not only a set of tools. However, it is a way of thinking of collaboration, automation, and continuous improvement. For the skill sets we're going to talk about today, they're all transferable no matter you are DevOps or not. So please stop worrying about the future of DevOps. So let's get started. I broke the technical skill set base for DevOps engineer down into 8 domains. But today, we can only talk about the most popular, friendly, and easy to use tools. 1. Operating system. 2. Code management. 3. Containers. 4. Cloud. 5. CI/CD. 6. Infrastructure as code. 7. Coding and automation. 8. Monitoring. Let's talk through them one by one.
The first one is the operating system. No matter you're a developer, tester, or administrator, Linux is always a must-learn operating system. You don't have to understand Linux or Unix in depth, such as kernel development, but there's something you should be very familiar with. For example, you should understand what Linux basic file structure looks like, such as what etc or var or bin folders are useful. You should know how to manage packages using tools such as RPM, yum, apt. Also, you should know the basic command lines such as list, move, copy, remove, make directory for file system, change mode, change owner for permissions, and top or ps for checking the system status, etc. And it is better that you know how to write a bash script for automation tasks. For above, I think 2 weeks, about 20 hours learning, and hands-on exercise should be enough for beginners. The second is code management, where Git is the most popular version control system. For Git repository tools, I have used GitHub, Bitbucket, and AWS Code Commit, but for learning purpose, GitHub is what I recommended. If you haven't used Git before, I would suggest you start from the theory and basic commands for creating local repository, committing code changes, pushing codes to remote repository. Also, you need to understand how to use branch, how to create pull requests to merge code. If you have got some experience on Git, just check if you understand how to control the user access and permission as an administrator, how to manage the code such as complex code workflow and different types of merging strategies. I believe most of you have used Git already, but if you haven't, you may just need a week to learn and then practice in your daily work. The third one is container and container orchestration. Container is getting more and more popular nowadays. It allows you to build your application and ship it in a container with all its runtime and dependencies, which could hugely simplify the deployment process. The most popular one I believe you must have heard is Docker. For beginners, start from the theory and basic Docker commands such as docker build, docker run, docker ps, docker images. Then, you should learn how to build Docker image via Docker file and run a container based on the image you created. Also, you should understand how Docker network works, such as port mapping. Once you get this, you can try using Docker Compose for building multi-container applications, which is a type of orchestration locally. For orchestration, I would highly suggest you load AWS ECS Fargate, which could be an easy start and cheap for its serverless mode. If you have experience, try Kubernetes as it's getting popular and almost in a dominant position. You can build a local cluster using Minikube and spin up VMs locally. The fourth one is cloud. You can choose AWS, Azure, or GCP. I use AWS, Azure, and even Tencent Cloud. I couldn't say which one is better, but I prefer AWS a little bit more. You can choose one of them based on your working scope, but if you are an absolute beginner, AWS is never a wrong choice. I will keep making AWS learning videos in my YouTube channel. For learning AWS, maybe start from the certificate such as Cloud Practitioner or Solution Architect Associate. Getting the certificate doesn't mean you are qualified for the role, but learning guidelines can point you to the correct learning path. This is at least my own experience. You can check the video in my channel for my learning path. The fifth one is CI/CD, which stands for Continuous Integration and Continuous Deployment or Delivery. This is one of the core parts of DevOps concept. What is it? Let's have a look at the chart. Continuous delivery includes the coding, building, deploying to stage, as well as acceptance tests. Continuous delivery or deployment includes another step, which is to deploy it into production. But the difference is delivery is manual and the deployment is automatic. In the real-world project, there are quite a lot of things to consider about the CI/CD pipeline, such as how many environments you have, the balance between quality and speed, what technical tools you're going to use, etc. For learning perspective, I would suggest you start with AWS Code Build, Code Deploy, and Code Pipeline if you use AWS. Or if you choose Azure DevOps as another starting point, I use GitHub Action quite a lot, and I also find it quite easy to learn. There are some other tools such as Jenkins, CircleCI, and TeamCity which are also very popular, but I would not suggest you start from here as they are either need complex setup or not free. The sixth one is infrastructure as code. With IAC, you can easily manage and provision your infrastructure through code instead of manual process. Especially when you have multiple environments for your app, IAC hugely improved efficiency. I have been using AWS CloudFormation for multiple years, but when I started using Terraform, I believe this is what I really need. I use Terraform to build infrastructure on AWS, Azure, as well as Tencent Cloud. There are quite a lot of modules you can use, but for real-world project, I usually build modules myself. For learning, I would suggest you can use Terraform to build a small project such as 3-tier applications or static website with CDN service. I'm also thinking about making another video about real-world Terraform project. You can subscribe my channel when the video is ready. There is a subdomain which is called configuration management. The tool that I recommended is Ansible, as it doesn't need to install the agent on the server. It is an easy to learn tool, so you can take this as lower priority. Actually, I don't use it quite often as we are now in a containerization heavy mode. The seventh one is the programming, which is actually the key part that you implement automation. There's not much to say how to learn coding as there are so many tutorials on the internet. If you have no coding experience, I suggest you take this as the top priority and learn Python as your first programming language, as it is the most popular one for automation and very easy to understand. While size of the community is very important for your learning, however, if you have already known how to code, just pick a language you are most familiar with. Then, the last one is monitoring. This is a very broad topic. The key words are metrics and logs. In order to understand what to monitor, you need to understand software or cloud architecture. You should know how to monitor the stats or metrics such as CPU, memory, storage, IOPS, as well as active connections and errors, etc. You also need to know how to collect logs. If you need to install an agent, what type of formats of data you should save as, and what the data lifecycle should be like. Other than these, you need to learn at least one tool to build dashboards. There are many tools in the market. I have used Splunk, Datadog, Elasticsearch, Grafana, Power BI, and Tableau integrated with relational database. Grafana might be your first choice for learning as the free version has very strong capabilities. If you build your monitoring solution on the cloud, you can start with CloudWatch for AWS or Azure Monitor for Microsoft Azure. I would recommend CloudWatch for beginners. You can learn how to use it during your journey of learning AWS. Other than above 8 domains, you'd better understand networking, security, and database management. As a DevOps engineer, you should always look at the system or solution from top to bottom instead of focusing on a specific part. Also, you should always remember you will never have mastered everything. Just keep yourself with a growing mind and learn the skills with practical exercise at the same time. Thanks for watching this video. Please make sure you subscribe my channel and click the like button if you find it helpful. I hope you can achieve your career goal in 2023. I'll see you in the next video.